Hey guys, here Valkyrie with another gameplay. Today we're going to be looking at the MiG-9 Late. Now, the MiG-9 Late, plain and simple, is the fastest 7.0 jet. Nothing can touch you if you abuse your speed properly. And by abuse, I mean if you use it right. So, in the early game, what I'd recommend doing would be, like I'm about to do here, get to speed and altitude. Get to speed, zoom climb at about a 15-degree angle, go to 3,500, 4,000 meters, and then get back up to speed and look for targets. Now, if you've seen my yesterday's video, that clip is from this replay. So, spoiler, you've already seen part of it if you watched yesterday's video. But, other notes on the MiG-9s, for upgrades, I would recommend going 37mm belts, just because then they will spark way less than the stock belts do. Just you'll thank yourself. And then after that, I'd get all the performance modifications, and then the survivability modifications. The performance mods doesn't really matter in which order, just because they just all of them do about the same thing. In all honesty, like, I mean, some will do turn time, some will do top speed, but in a jet you really need those performance mods. I don't have a specific order for you to follow, because you know, I don't even remember how I did it. I just kind of looked in this thing. It's like, oh, this thing's almost spaded. I should fly it. So, your top speed, you definitely want to get that better. The top speed is like that. It's life in this thing. It's kind of like a P-47 in that way. It flies a lot like a P-47. It doesn't climb too well. It has pretty good energy retention, but it doesn't turn for a jet at this tier. It just doesn't. So you need to go fast, and you need to go fast. Just that's plain and simple. Now, the guns on the MiG-9 are kind of, well, I'm going to say interesting. Simply due to the fact that if you get a hit with your 37, you have a 50% chance of killing it. Because if it actually does damage, it should die. However, if it sparks, which it has really good tendency to do, it just does nothing. You know, it just goes, it just spark, great. You're done, wrecked. But yeah, so in the 23s are the same way. The same the same 23s on the TU4. So you know, you've all seen what that thing does. It's not a good sight when you've got 10 of them firing back at you. But this only has 2. Now these things, until you get the cannon upgrades, are shotguns. You want to get in at real close range and tight. And yeah, it's like they have a really bad spread. So long range snipes, they aren't gonna happen unless you get incredibly lucky. So things I would recommend avoiding in this: while you do have very powerful guns, avoid committing to head-ons. I understand that there are situations, as you will see in the next replay, where it does make sense to commit to head-on, but in general I'd avoid it, because you're not all that tough for a jet, but you're not all that tough, but getting hit by 50 cals and stuff like that, you can survive and return to base and land, but I would definitely avoid that. As in anything, not getting hit is generally a good idea. You know, you don't want to get shot. But yeah, in jets, it's not a pretty sight when you get hit. You know, they're insanely fragile because at the speeds they travel, any little bit of aerodynamic drag will do a lot to your plane. Not entirely sure how well that's modeled in War Thunder, however, but it does still affect your flight performance a lot. So, I'm here doing about 600 kilometers an hour, just under 3,500 meters, and you want to look for targets of opportunity. You don't want to go... You don't just want to, like, engage whatever you see. It doesn't always make sense in the MiG-9, because it's like a boom and zoom style plane, but in a jet. So it's kind of, if you know what you're doing, you can really make it work. If you know how to prioritize targets and what to do for your team, it's a very good plane. Now, you didn't see them there, and I don't know why, but there's 2 Bearcats and a P-80 that were chasing me. So I turned around to get closer to my team, because the P-80 was dragging me back towards the Bearcats. Don't know why I didn't pop up as markers, but that's what happened. That's why I turned around. So then I turn around, because I'm a little bit closer to my team, so I can afford to get engaged the P-80s and the Bearcats, Now I'm starting to get lit up by flak because, you know, flak. Woo. So I'm kind of flying back out towards the ocean, looking to re-engage the planes. Because there was 3 of them there, and 3 on 1, if you can avoid it, it's generally a good idea. Okay, I lied. I found the P-80 now. So, spoiler, but Bearcat's coming. Woo! So the P-80 does something very smart here. He turns around, knowing that there's 2 friendly Bearcats. You just saw one of the dots there, you didn't see the marker pop up. And there's the Bearcat, and there's the other one. I have a choice. I can follow that P-80 and I will catch him before I engage the Bearcats, but then I'm going to have to engage 2 Bearcats who have altitude on me and I'm not going particularly fast. So I'm just going to turn around, go back to my team as I mentioned, and then when I get near some of my teammates, I can re-engage. Now, would I recommend the MiG-9 as a starter jet while we have some time? Well, it does teach some very important jet lessons, especially for the Russians. This 23 and 37 combo is the same combo you'll find on both of the MiG-15s and the MiG-17. So you better get used to them. However, on the MiG-15s and 17s, 37 is not mounted in the middle. It is mounted underneath the nose with the 223s. So you're going to still have to do some adjusting, but you'll know how to lead them and you'll know how to get kills with them. So, yeah. That's a very good lesson for the Russians. However, as a jet in general, I wouldn't... You're just that much faster than everything else, and it doesn't really teach you how to engage. It definitely can teach you like good lessons for the Hunter and MiG-17, due to the fact that they're flown in very similar manners. And back to the replay for just a moment. So as I mentioned, avoid committing and head-on. So I take some shots at that Bearcat, break, no hits. I got a hit on him, nothing on me. And I make sure that Bearcat can't engage me no matter what he does. And I'm actually going to go for this B-17. Just like I said, target of opportunity, and I don't want to engage any of these guys. I've got the speed, I don't have to. So I'll let all of them be on my 6, knowing that I'm all but invincible to them. That P-80 is going to stay fairly close, but I've got energy on him and speed, and it doesn't matter. That Meteor's coming in at me, but he's never going to get a shot. I'm just going to do a high-speed pass on this B-17. Spark the first ones, second ones, and the 4th burst finally kills him. So I did take a little bit of damage in return. Nothing much, just a little bit of a yellow wing. It's not going to affect my flight performance at all. So now what I'm going to do here is I'm going to extend from this P-80. I don't have any teammates over here, and I'm highly doubting he has any over there. If he still has teammates over there, they have severely late spawn, and they won't be on high enough energy to engage me. So I want to get to a distance where I can turn around. And yes, if he stays on me, that will mean forcing a head-on. However, I won't commit to that head-on, because I don't want to take damage, and then that way I can run towards my teammates. Back to recommending this thing as a starter jet. It does teach you how to keep your energy up. However, I still feel the Meteor Mark III is a better plane to learn on. And yes, I'm a noob, I ripped my flap shut up. So, I'd recommend the Meteor Mark III over this, but this is definitely a good option. Better than the P-80 or 262, that's for sure. Now, I do take a bit of a dodgy head-on, but as soon as I get my guns on, that P-80 breaks, and so then now I have a chance to just extend this engagement over to where my friendlies are. I want to get into that cloud, because if I can get into that cloud, that P-80 will not know where I am. So it's stuff like that that you really want to learn in the MiG-9. You don't want to be forced into a dogfight. It is okay by all means to boom and zoom, but don't just run. You will eventually have to engage somebody, and you will have to know what you're doing. But if I can get into that cloud, I can balance it a little bit more in my favor, because he won't know where I'm attacking from, but I'll have the speed to engage him however I please. So, I'm just scanning the skies, looking for more potential threats. That P-80 is never going to catch me. So I'm just going to run for the cloud, and when I get into the cloud, and all friendly markers nearby are gone, that's when it is safe to turn and try and find the P-80 in the cloud. Now, going into a cloud is a good and bad idea. Because if I go into the cloud, the enemy can't see me. But did you hear that? It's the prop. It's a Bearcat right on my 6. He came up out of the cloud, the P-80 was marking my position. Bearcat tried to belly stab me. However, he didn't get any shots off because he didn't pull up fast enough. Didn't have enough energy. So now I'm going to wait for the tag on that Bearcat to disappear, and when that tag on the Bearcat disappears, that means that I can no longer be seen. Now I'm far away enough from that Bearcat that I'm actually not the one lighting him up. It is that MiG-9 behind me. I'm going to pull up. I know this P-80 can't see me, and actually in the real game, there we go, the markers disappear. So now that P-80 has no clue where I am, but I also don't really know where he is. I am just kind of assuming he's flying straight into the cloud looking for me. However, if he's not, we're never going to find each other. So, we're kind of at an altitude where both of our jets perform okay, but not great. This thing doesn't perform very well at high altitude. The P-80's kind of everywhere. It doesn't have, like, I'd say low altitude for the P-80s where it's at the best. So, I'm going to stay above the clouds hoping that P-80 comes up and tries to get me. But there's nothing above here, and I'm the only one up here. So, I roll over, and I'm going to go back into the cloud. Just for that little bit of added security so that I don't become a target of opportunity for another jet. So, really what I'm trying to do is I'm just trying to look for targets of opportunity that are engaged and may not see me from other enemy players. That's what the MiG-9 excels at, and then just running away. So now, I can see these two guys on the other side of the cloud, and I can see that my teammates are kind of struggling with them. We got a Yak-3 VK-107 down there, and I believe our LE-9 is down there as well. And there's only one MiG-9. So, see the Meteor, he's disengaging from the fight, and he's separated himself from his teammate, which makes him an easy target for me, if I could aim. I'm not the best with these 37s, I won't lie. But he actually sees me coming and evades. So, I got a hit with my 23s. Must have just been an armor-piercing belt, or an armor-piercing round. So I look, there's nothing on my 6. I can afford to go back up into the clouds, or just back to altitude. But that P-80 still has me worried because he was last spotted in that cloud, and he will have more altitude than me. And there he goes diving in onto the furball. If he'd have dove on me, this could have turned out very different, but he didn't know where I was. So now I'm going to go back into the cloud, so that furball has no idea where I am. And I'm going to try and help that friendly MiG-9 as the Yak VK-107 and LA-9, I believe, rammed. I don't question it, they were in a squad. That didn't make any sense. So, I can see this bit of a lemming train forming. It's Meteor at the back, followed by the P-80 and the Bearcat. The MiG-9 straightens out and tries to run away after he does a little bit of evasive flying, which is a very smart move for that MiG-9. This is going to give me a very easy lineup. If it wasn't for this MiG-9, this clip would not have happened. So, I dive on the Meteor, and as anyone who watched my yesterday's video know, I kind of start to compress here, and I was playing on different settings than I'm used to, and yeah, just ignore that. That Meteor is no longer a threat to me because he pulled up and lost all of his energy. Go for the P-80, and then I decide to go for the Bearcat, and, well, I get both of them. That was actually very near being an epic fail, because that P-80's carcass came up and almost hit me when I tore its wing off. And not only that, but its wingtip actually flew right above my wing. That could have been very different, that would have been awful, but it would still been hilarious. And the MiG-9 wound up still being shot down. He was crit, and not much he could have done. But he got shot down by an attacker, so it wasn't either of those two guys. But that Meteor's still around, and there's two more left on the enemy team, this Meteor and one other guy that I'm not aware of his position. So I'm going to dive onto the Meteor, and I'm just going to see what he does. I don't really have many intentions in committing to this pass. I just want to see how this Meteor reacts when he knows that I'm going to be coming at him. So you can see he's leaking oil from my last hit. And I'm closing on him at a very high rate of closure, and he banks, and there's no way I can keep up with that. I'm starting to compress, and I just go pull back up into a climb, convert that speed back into altitude. There's nothing this Meteor can do. He does not have enough energies. One of his engines is damaged. He doesn't really have many options. And our MiG-9 just shot down their Bearcat, which means this Meteor is the last remaining player alive. So, I'm going to roll back down and do another high-speed pass on him whenever I can pick up his dot again. So, I'm pulling back down onto this Meteor. What I really want to... And he banks, and I kind of thought that was a weird thing. And he's banking more. He's doing it really early to be evading. However, he sees a MiG-9 and he's going heads up with him. Now, whether or not this MiG-9 was baiting, I don't know. But it puts this Meteor into a really low energy situation. And the 37 blows his wing off. So that's the end of this replay. I will join you guys in the next one. Welcome to the next replay, and due to the magic of editing, I join you in a combat position. So this was a mixed battle on Cook and Go. They have Germans, Russians, Americans, and British. So, yeah, fair mix of P-80s, Meteors, and 262s, and Hortons as well. So, now, 262s, they do have the same engines as you. They aren't as fast, however, because you're more aerodynamic in your MiG-9. But there's this, they have a really good dive speed, but a worse climb rate. So that's going to come into effect later on. But for now, once again, I'm looking for more targets of opportunity. I know there's an F-84 down low. I know. And there was an F-84 doing ground strike. There's a MiG-9 doing ground strike. Don't know why. And you can see the MiG-9 and the F-84 over there. Now, I initially was kind of looking to engage them, but I decided against that when I saw this P-80 over here. So, this P-80, he's on lower energy than me, and I have a funny feeling he's going to try and belly stab me, which is coming up from below me when he thinks I don't see him. And I can see him pull up, so I'm going to pull up as well. However, I've got more speed and altitude, so I can afford to do this and go into a hammerhead. However, he brakes and goes in a straight line. Until he doesn't. Ooh, voice crack, ignore that. He turns right back into me, which, if he'd have just extended, that would have been the end. I wouldn't have been able to catch him because it just lost a lot of energy. However, he rolls right into my guns. And not with that burst, but he rolls back into me again. That burst takes his elevator off. Gonna follow him in, because if not, the P-80 is gonna kill him. So, follow him in. That shot his elevator off. He's not pulling out of it. P-80 sets on fire, but I still get the kill for it because, you know, I shot his elevator off, and that's why he died. That's my first kill of this game. Now, that was more just knowing that I had more energy, and that P-80 made a few huge mistakes, like turning back into me twice. If he wouldn't have done even one of those, that engagement would have been completely different. Now, I see this P-80 above me here, and I was afraid he was going to engage me, but for whatever reason, he doesn't decide to go for me. He goes for the P-80 behind me. But now, there's two 262s in front of me and a Horton. So that could be a bit of a problem. Actually, I'm wrong. It's 3 262s, but no one saw that. Right. Okay, good. Anyways, so there's these 3 262s up there, and that's going to cause a problem for me, because they're on higher energy than me. So now, I'm left with a choice. Except I'm not, because there's two of them, so I have to get very close and split between the 2 262s, hoping to cause them to ram. They didn't ram, unfortunately, which would have been hilarious. But, so, that 262 starts turning in. Try to get some lucky snipes. They're never going to happen. Now, I know if I stay on these guys as 6, it'll take them longer to turn around, but really what good is that going to do? So I see that MiG-9, he's on way lower energy than me, heading the other way. I'm going to go for the target of opportunity again, because I'm not coming out of this battle alive with those 2 262s. They will outturn me, and they are on a higher energy state. No point. So I'm going to go for this MiG-9, and at this point, those 2 262s have already turned around. So the MiG-9 is smart and tries to break out of the head-on, but I pilot snipe him, and that's that. 74 is coming at me, put a few shots in, nothing critical. We ram, because we're both noobs and committed to head-ons. 262s are coming in, and I have almost no control over my plane. It's not well, and just doing the best I can. Can't really control my camera and my plane at the same time. I get the 262 coming in. I'm trying to evade his shots, and there they are, and I smack the ground. So, really, what I should have done in that situation is I should not have lost all that energy with the P-80. I should have kept going straight and not turned back into the battlefield. Had I done that, I would have lived. So I'm going to leave you guys on that note on what not to do, and I'll see you guys next time.